Hi Pisces, this is your weekly tarot card reading from Born Without Boundaries Tarot. It is for Pisces, Sun, Moon, and Rising sign. Pisces, this is part one of a double part reading. I always offer you an extended reading, and I hope that you guys will join me for it. The links are below in the description box right at top, and I will also pin it to the top of the comment section. You have a third option, Pisces, and that is to join the Unbound membership to this channel. You will get unlimited access to exclusive content, to all of the extended readings and all of the other channel perks. There are so many ways to support and further enjoy Born Without Boundaries Tarot. So check out the memberships if you have some time. Please remember that Pisces comes out every single Wednesday at 8 a.m. Pacific time. So to make it easier for yourself, subscribe to the channel and ring that notification bell so that you know when I upload your favorite content, even if it isn't Pisces content. Also, I would love for you to join me on my daily tarot card readings, which, because of the massive uploads that I do every single week to this channel, I've created another channel called Astrology Motivation, and I do a live chat tarot card reading every single day, or Monday through Friday, which I would love to hear your voice in. So go ahead and check that out. I'll attach it somewhere above, and then hopefully you can check out that channel as well. So I'm not going to pretend that this isn't a difficult week. You're facing some difficult energy actually through the end of this month. Why? Because especially starting at the end of this week into next week. But let's just look at what's happening this week. Neptune is in opposition to the Sun, and then eventually opposition to Venus. What does that mean? For you personally, and Jupiter, which is your other ruling dignitary, is in a constant opposition to Mercury retrograde. So mind scattered, ideals scattered, maybe thinking too grand, too robust, too much, and that's why it's slowing you down, number one. Number two, the bigger problems or challenges, let's say, but oppositions are even worse than squares. Okay, so it's not just a challenge, it's really going to get to the core of your existence and how you feel about yourself. Neptune in opposition to the Sun kind of means you're in opposition to yourself, or you feel like you're in opposition to what is accepted, what is the ideal, what is the egotistical ideal. You could find yourself in opposition to a lot of egos this week, right? Also, your ego, you could feel drained. You could feel like in some ways your ego isn't living up to your ideals, your religious ideals, your ethics, your morals, your value systems. A sense of these two things are not in sync, right? And so feeling bad about that, guilty about that, or ashamed of that. And then we also have an opposition eventually to Venus, because Venus is growing closer to the Sun. It's in a loose conjunction with the Sun. It's not really conjunct the Sun, but it's still pretty much in opposition to Neptune. And that is going to really leave you very vulnerable with how you love, how you feel your worth, overspending, or thinking that you have to overcompensate or allow too much or give too much just to buy somebody's approval. Being too forgiving or too allowing, not really having basically any standards at all when it comes to your personal space or sense of self-worth. This makes for a very troublesome week for you, except that Neptune is really stabilized, and I do say stabilized because I mean it, by a sextile to Pluto, which it has helped it out for a while. And that means that in some ways, this functional understanding of what it is, of what your morals and what your ethics are going to be fundamentally, even though your confidence and your self-worth is tested, they're being tested to actually kind of make your sense of faith even stronger, if that means anything to you. And so you will really get to know who you are and what you value most. And everything that doesn't coincide with that will fall apart, and it should. It just may be a troublesome week. And as we get to the end of this week, Pisces, the astrology, I gotta say it gets even worse, because Neptune then once again is also in opposition with Mercury again. And that will leave Neptune and Jupiter, I think, for a while in opposition to Mercury till the end of this month. And it is a really challenging 2 weeks that you're entering astrologically. where there will be a lot of opposition coming at you, accusations coming at you. Why is everybody suddenly against me and disagreeing with me kind of energy? Like, why is everything I say being taken wrong? Or I'm not feeling valued, I don't feel valuable, I feel drained. All of those things are energies that you could just know now are essentially because of the astrology. And it's you know, God puts you through these tough situations to really show you how strong and beautiful you are, so that you come out on the other side a much more valued and whole, complete version of who you are. So hang tight. I promise you it does get better. Nightingale spirit, love is all around, but it's not. So there's something here breaking up, not feeling loved, feeling devalued, feeling already, at least in the recent past, criticisms coming in like crazy. This is Gemini energy. It could be that you're dealing with a Gemini, but I think also the sense of you're losing friends. Friendships may be shifting. People that you thought you had so much in common with and that you'd always have support from, it's not that they've become bad people all of a sudden, it's that you don't have as much in common with them as you used to. Which means that your life is going through, and you can see this in the astrology, happy birthday, Doug Denny, it's going through a transition. You're not the person that you used to be. You're not, and you know, you don't hold the ideals that maybe some people that were in your life and you depended on, that you guys don't hold the same ideals anymore. It doesn't mean that anybody's a bad person or that anything has actually technically gone wrong. It's just a shift in your reality. It's a shift in your viewpoints. Now, with that sextile to Pluto, it could be because you are taking things to the extreme. And it is maybe those extremes that people are starting to clash with. And maybe that's something that you want to step back from and look at objectively. Do I really feel these extreme ways, or do I feel so devalued and worthless that unless I am siding or taking an extreme stance on whatever, I don't feel like I'm strong at all? I feel like I'm just not worth it at all. That still comes down to an issue of boundary setting. So there is definitely disagreements or a feeling of polarization. Like I feel disconnected from who I used to feel connected to. Sing your own song. This is talking about liberty and independence. It's also about talking about finding personal strength to go your own way or take your own direction, and then bring a gentle touch. So it's not lost upon you that maybe you have to walk lightly and not with, what is that, the opposite of that Theodore Roosevelt's expression, like walk heavy with a big stick or whatever. Like, no, it's like don't walk with a stick at all, and walk lightly, like tread lightly, go calmly. Maybe there's another way to connect or work this by speaking, talking, or communicating. And definitely with these energies, especially opposition to the Sun and Venus, the one thing that is in your favor is creativity. So it's almost like in some ways, maybe you will be the pressure point that comes up with a brand new way of doing things by discovering or figuring out how to use your creativity to express more difficult to communicate values or ideals or ideas. It's through creativity now that you're actually going to get things done. It's through creating now, and honestly, Pisces, this should be a very inspired time for you. Those energies are really high and through the roof with your ideas and following your ideas and creating whatever it is that you had conceptualized, simply because it's almost like in some ways God is acting through you and really wants to birth new concepts into the 3D world. So it's through especially music, song, speech, something written, that you're going to be able to, if you take those actions this week, you're actually going to contribute something really amazing to your life, and maybe even fundamental to a change, a spiritual change, an ethical change in people around you. But it's not going to be through normal talking and normal diatribe. Like, that's going to be where there's a lot of conflicts that you're gonna find. You know, it's got to be through creativity. In other words, it's got to be not through dictating to people, arguing with people, debating people, but through inspiring people. That's it. Inspiration is your key to success this week in any form of communications you have with anybody. Pisces. Pisces. Okay, if in recent history you have had major falling out, especially verbal falling out with somebody, I can tell you that it's almost like they want to talk. They might be sending you little messages, even through like, you know, their tweets or their DMs, kind of like hinting that they want, like, even they want to talk, they want to say something, but ultimately they might not be able to, or maybe you, it's kind of passive aggressive energy, to be honest with you, but or you might be doing this too. You might be inclined to just say little like DMs or tweets or whatever, like little birdie, little birdie, little birdie, talking little messages. But yeah, it's like they want to talk to you again, or you want to talk to them again. And so the one thing I would be bold with is I would definitely say, talk to them. Talk to them. Maybe it is just the only thing that you can do right now is be creative. This is almost like writing a song about how you feel instead of being able to say it directly. So it might be through art and creativity that you're able to express something that you can't express blatantly this week, or somebody is doing that to you, and if you're picking up on that, you're absolutely correct. Sometimes life stings, and give with gratitude and grace. So yeah, once again, this is a sentiment of, it may suck this week, but it's almost like, hold on, stop. Sometimes life stings, and give with gratitude and grace. Yeah, time for a beginner. You've been giving too much. You've been giving your whole self, and it's starting to hurt. It's like almost like you're putting yourself through too much pain. You're giving so much of yourself, you're starting to feel like your feathers being torn out. You're starting to realize, holy crap, I'm on a chopping block here, and aren't I? That's turkey. You know, you've been giving so much of yourself, and you've been doing so much that you're actually starting to make yourself bleed. There's something that you have to be aware of then, right? There's just that sense of, or you're feeling like something's being shoved down your throat. Like this expectation to be so kind and give so much of yourself that you're starting to hate what you do and not feel inspired anymore, simply because it's become a task or a chore, and it's just not out of the goodness of your heart anymore. This could also be a feeling of somebody else isn't giving to you out of the goodness of their heart anymore. Like you feel like every little thing you do has to be forced out of them. Right? All of these things are complications to your week. Time for a beginner mind. What does that mean? Well, this is going into the future, which means that, yeah, you have to shift how you behave. Absolutely. You have to shift, and you have to allow yourself to see things from a different perspective in a different way. And moving forward, this is all set up universally now to change you and to change your mind and to change how much you let, how you let people close to you. Because maybe you shouldn't let people that close to you, or maybe you shouldn't let everybody that close to you. You know, let them see that there are boundaries. And going into the future, I think that this could make you, let's put it this way, prickly. It could almost be like, I've been stung so much and I've given so much that now I'm uber defensive. So ultimately, you know, I don't know if this is fate or you still have a choice. I believe in free will. I believe in fate and free will. So I think that you can make a choice. You can definitely make a choice to say, to start creating some boundaries or start a step. You can even use your creativity for boundaries. You know what I'm saying? It's like you could say no just because now I have to stay home and work. I have to stay home and write. I would rather stay home and, you know, like legitimately use kind of like that Virgo energy to be like, you know, to be your excuse to keep yourself out of situations where you're feeling disrespected and unloved. We have Cancerian energy, which means nurturing and caring, maybe taking care of a parent or a child, putting your family first. And then we have 3, which means divine intervention and divine alignment, and 2, which means connection. What does that mean? Ooh, okay. It's almost like through somebody else and your valuing of them that you're going to learn how to value yourself more, because you realize that if I don't learn how to stand up for myself, if I hold somebody in my arms, but I'm a doormat, they get walked on too. So I'm going to stand up for their sake. And even though it's for their sake, it's still getting you on your feet. So through loving somebody else, you are then able to discover your sense of self-worth. And sometimes we have to do that, Pisces. We have to have this like once removed, because maybe we're not ready, and certainly the astrology does not support you being ready to just throw yourself into, I feel great about myself, because you don't. Because you're going through an intentionally, I'm questioning myself kind of time. But you're questioning yourself to see, well, what have I done to myself? What have I allowed? And have I respected who I am? And have I taught people how to treat me? And if I have I taught them to treat me with respect, or have I taught them to treat me like a doormat? And you will see that through how somebody else is starting to be treated. And I tell you, it'll horrify you just enough to shake you awake and make you realize, I have to 3 + 2 is 5, change. Because would I let somebody I love be treated like I'm letting myself be treated now? Sometimes it's only through the treatment of somebody else do we realize how horrible we've allowed ourselves to be treated. I've been through this. And I tell you, if this is somebody that you love, the moment they look at you with disappointment in their eyes, excuse me, like, how could you do this to me? How could you let somebody treat me like shit like that? There'll be such shame inside of you that you will realize, I let them be treated like shit because that's how I let myself be treated. And this is why I have to change moving forward. This is a real cathartic kind of eye-opening experience for you this week. And you should thank God for it, because it's going to change you for the better and for the stronger. Let's get a moon card. Your hard work is paying off. So this could be a process that you're already in. Please leave the comments below. You guys know I care about what you have to say. And I want to know, how are you experiencing his energy? How is it playing out in your life? And I feel like for some of you, you're gonna inevitably write comments like, this started for me 2 weeks ago, or this has already been happening in my life. And now it's like, I think, coming into consciousness and awareness of why this is happening. We have your hard work is paying off. This is really beautiful energy. So if something was stalled, if something felt like it wasn't being valued, or it was being devalued, there's just a sense of, you can feel a shift that's starting to happen now. Your dreams need a practical plan. Wow. So we have Taurus and Capricorn energy, which is the practicality and pragmatic of what's going on. You know, it's like all my ideals I told you, right? Didn't I say it to you? As soon as I opened up, I felt like God is making something work through you. And God, the universe, whatever you want to call it. And it's almost like, Pisces, this is where the inspiration is coming from. All these strains, all these stresses, all this sadness, all these emotions that have kicked off, I think, on that Pisces full moon, and that are still hitting you now, and are going to hit you for the next 2 weeks. All of this is because you have just gotten a flood of psychic energy, directly crown chakra, stuff that is brand new, never been conceived of before, and it's stressing you out because your job is to bring all of this into the tangible 3D world. It's one of the hardest jobs ever. It is giving birth. It is giving birth, but this is giving birth to an ideal. This is giving birth to something that's inspired. Now, you could be talking about real birth too. But that's what I'm saying is like, if I can't see the value in who I am, then I have to see the value in what I'm doing and what I'm bringing into this world. And by seeing the value in that, I then can reflect the value back onto myself and start seeing value in me. Let's get deeper into how you do that, Pisces. In the extended, I will see you guys there.